My inbox is full. I cannot answer everything. And some questions are really like urgent or important. So let me do a general Q&A in case these answers help anybody else, not just the person who sent this question. And there's going to be timestamps for each question. So feel free to skip through and see which one you need an answer to or just watch them all. Yeah. Estamos listos. Me encanta. I went to my hairdresser yesterday and I have a full-on Balkan hair. Fabulous. You know, when you see the Balkan ladies, like they're always on point. So we are Balkatinos, a family living in Banja Luka. We have an almost 4-year-old. We've been here for 6 years, and Balkatinos just started randomly, and it's getting to places we wanted to get, especially the fact that we're helping a lot of you through a screen and hopefully in person as well. So whatever you think we can help you with, whether that's travel tips around the region, relocation, adapting to this culture, anything related to languages, family, you know. How long did it take you to learn the language? I'm asking because my girlfriend is from Chile and she's starting to learn it. So the fact that she's a Spanish speaker, that is already super helpful. I found that with this language, Serbian, Croatian, Bosnian, however you want to call it, because we're not gonna get into that. There's a saying, you say it the way it's written, like it's very straightforward. There's no intonation, sounds, two letters make a sound. Like it's for Spanish speakers, I find it that it's very, very straightforward. Grammatically, maybe not the same, but not impossible, especially the pateshi, of course, but not impossible. And also, there are some words that are very similar to Spanish. And for me, I have a personal trick that there are words in Spanish that don't mean the same in this language, but kind of reminds me, it's like a memory game. It kind of reminds me of that word. For example, meso means meat, but if I turn it into mesa, it's a table in Spanish, and that helps me connect those two words, and then I always remember. Uh, so, how long did it take me? I live here since 2020. Before that, I traveled quite a bit around the Balkans, and I have a lot of friends before meeting my husband. So, I was from the region, so I was already accustomed to listening to this language. And if that's not the case for your girlfriend, I would say to try. I don't know if you live together, I don't know where you live, but at least for 2 weeks, for a month, play music for her, watch TV shows or movies with subtitles, let her get used to the listening, like let her listening skill get better, to get accustomed to how it sounds, the different nuances in the voices, or maybe the sayings that are repetitive. She's gonna pick it up. She's a bright girl, I'm sure. She's Latina. But definitely the fact that I'm exposed all the time to this language really made things easier, because I can see how people are communicating and you, without realizing, do this thing called shadowing, which means you're basically copying them. So right now, I want to say I am at an A2 B1 level. I make mistakes with conjugations with Padeshi, but oh, my food is ready. But I feel pretty confident with the language. And something that was really a game changer and no pressure, but when Vera was born, she's gonna be 4 very soon, I started to learn the language with a baby. She speaks way better than me. She's fluent, of course. She's been learning this language way before, way less time than me. But yeah, the fact that I kind of started to learn with a baby, I think I saw improvement then. Watching stories, listening to kids' stories, just learning the basics first, and then moving from there. But I'm gonna be very straightforward. If there's no commitment of at least half an hour per day, nothing's gonna happen. I would say that is the thing. Commitment of like, for the next 3 months, you're gonna really immerse yourself in consuming this language and sitting down. At least it's like exercise. Just you need to exercise your Serbian, Bosnian, Croatian brain. Does this help? If she does that for the next 3 months, she'll be really at a good basic level. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Soy venezolana viviendo en Doboy. No tengo mucho tiempo aquí, así que casi no conozco a ningún latino. Qué pena, pero eso lo vamos a solucionar ya mismo. Tenemos el Snajka Club, que es un club, un grupo que armé para mujeres como nosotras, casadas con hombres de acá, de la zona, y que, bueno, sí, que no tienen esa contención o ese círculo cercano para hablar como como nuestras amigas en nuestro país de origen. Así que ya mismo voy a responder este mensaje, te voy a enviar el link para que te sumes y nos vamos a encontrar en persona porque hay encuentros todos los meses online, pero la idea es también salir un poco de la pantalla y encontrarnos en persona. Entonces nos encontramos en Sarajevo a fin de marzo y en Serbia y también en Banja Luka va a haber. Así que no solo para vos, Carol, pero para quien sea que le interese, el link va a estar acá y mandanos un mensaje ante cualquier cosa. Es muy importante conocer más personas en esta situación. La adaptación, el choque cultural, el estilo de comunicación puede ser un tema duro de afrontar si lo hacemos solos y por eso es que quería crear este espacio para personas que realmente quieran adaptarse de la mejor manera. Y siempre necesitamos con quién hablar de estas cosas. Esta no es una pregunta, this is not a question, pero there's a lot of messages like this of Balkatinos around the world. Me encanta tu página. I'm a Serb born and raised in Canada, and I effing hate the grammar. Oh my god. It took me like 30 years to finally understand the difference between ch and ch. I still don't see it. And I still mess it up sometimes. Don't even get me started on Padeshi. My husband is Serbian born and has only been in Canada 12 years, and he's always correcting me. Now we have two little girls, and the language is such BS sometimes. Like they make it hard on purpose. You know what I really love? That we started Balkatinos, mainly me, to document my journey adapting here. And it's incredible to see the connection we've made with Diaspora because I would have never thought that we are actually going through the same shocks culturally with the language. And I guess they enjoy me that I'm not from this culture saying these things out loud that sometimes are, sramota. So un saludo grande, veliki pozdrav to all the diaspora that is here with Balkatinos, and you are Balkatinos. Like, you are part of this family. Really, thank you. You also share a lot of personal things, which I'm going to say I appreciate when you guys, I mean, Balkan people, open up. I just saw that you were in Montenegro. Maybe I am a little late, but I wanted to ask you um, for something. We live in Kotor. Our business is where, oh, this is a collaboration. Oh, this is lovely, amigos. We left Montenegro and we started posting our content after Montenegro, and then we got a lot of messages like this for invitations and so on. So I'm sorry. We've been announcing a bit that we were coming in case anyone wanted to, do collaborations or for us to visit or anything. So it's very hard to because we usually travel with a plan already. So sometimes it's hard to like accommodate, and we're definitely not checking messages on the trip because we try to enjoy as much as possible. So I'm gonna answer to this message because we will come back to Montenegro probably after the summer when tourists are gone. We had such a lovely time. We mainly stayed around Budva and that area, but we will come back because there's so much we haven't done up in Durmitor and inland. We will let you know, guys, in advance in case you still want us to pay a visit, or we might as well just go anyway. So many reactions to me doing my visa. Papir papir. I'm so happy to say that my fifth visa, or my sixth, wait, yeah, it's under process. Everything was approved. Now I just have to wait for like the final approval, and then we should get a sticker. And after that, amigos, I can apply for my permanent, because this whole time was only temporary, which we have to renew every year. And then I can apply for my permanent, which I think it's 5 years long or 10 years long. And I think then I can get my lichna carta, which is an ID card. And let me tell you, I've been waiting for that one because I don't want to carry any more of my Argentinian ID or passport. Anyway, any visa related stuff, leave them in the comments. Also, lots of reactions to a night out that I had. I wouldn't even call it a night out. So after Montenegro, I was having a bit of a overwhelming return when it comes to the language, because I realized that in Montenegro, I don't know, I got a bit overwhelmed because in Montenegro I didn't have to speak the language. I could communicate with people in Montenegro, so that was fantastic. But it's like I was not exposed to have to speak the language, and I hadn't thought about it thus far, but it was such a relief to my brain. Vera and Jovan were speaking, and I was speaking to her in Spanish. And for work, I was speaking in English. So everything was fantastic. And then I came back here to Banja Luka, and immediately we went to see my family, like Jovan's parents. And I was just like, no, I'm not speaking. I can't. I'm not ready. I was too relaxed. And I really, of course, I've been obsessing with Bad Bunny, and like he's keeping my spirits up throughout this cold days and the whole winter. And the music is so good. And I'm like, I wish there was a place in Banja Luka where they play Bad Bunny loud in a bar. Like I can have a drink and listen to Bad Bunny and dance. And we went to this place called Cafe Mambo. Let me tell you, amigos, there is nothing mambo about that place. Sorry, not sorry. I was like, well, at least let me have some nice drinks. I'm guessing it's like on the main street, Gospodska Street, which is like the main pedestrian street. There has to be at least like a nice cocktail menu. 10 marks, €5 for an Aperol Spritz, that €5 for a gin and tonic, that everything was overpriced. And there was Bad Bunny. That was the one thing they fulfilled, but the vibe was so dead. Then there's a few messages saying you should go to Latino party at Boom Boom on Wednesday. I've attended that several times because I got that recommendation several times. Is it Latino party? Maybe I'm too picky. I don't know. It's not that I'm picky. This is like for Latinas or Latinos, there's like a standard of Latino parties. And then, so maybe I'm too picky. It is Banja Luka. Why would I expect like a fantastic locura de Latino party? I know Belgrade, even, I don't know if Navi saw it, but I know Belgrade does not disappoint when they say Latino party, and I'm yet to attend one. Thing with Instagram, there is a request and then there's a hidden request. So the amount of messages that I have not seen in so long, there is a few messages about me teaching Spanish. And that's something I did for a few years. When I moved here to Banja Luka, actually, I was teaching English and Spanish, and I loved teaching so much because it was not the same as the cabin crew job that we were doing before, which I loved being a cabin crew, but like connecting with people, talking with people, and also to help them learn a language to help them communicate. And I would have students from all over the world. So that was something that kept me, I guess, linked to what I was doing before. And also, that's how I got to speak more of my language, Spanish and English, which I'm very comfortable with. And then later, I got pregnant. Vera came, and after she was born, I got a remote fixed job. So I had my hours per day and I stopped teaching. But that was something I really enjoyed. And now I was thinking, should I start teaching basic Serbian to Spanish speakers? Because that's something I'm also getting a lot of messages about. So I'm not saying no just yet to teaching Spanish and Serbian, but yeah, I'm not saying no. And of course, you'll be the first to find out if ever I launch something related to language learning. So thank you. And I hope that answers the other people who've been sending me this. Hi, random question. I've heard about the mate drink and seen rugby players drinking it. So I wonder, where do you buy it and where can I order it if you don't mind? I don't mind, amigo. I think everyone should drink mate. Oh my god, getting yerba mate here in the Balkans has been always an adventure. When we moved here, I brought I don't know how many kilos, and then every time we would go to Argentina, I would bring kilos and kilos. And then every time someone would come and visit, a huge requirement for them to be allowed in their house was for them to bring us mate, yerba mate, right? There is a shop in Croatia, a many chai. Everything I mentioned, I'm going to link it below. And finally, something a bit easier. I would have to check the prices, which one's cheaper, but I think it also depends where you live and what is going to be easier for you to get delivered. We found Guacamacho or Guacamayo, and they also sell yerba. So I'm going to link those below. The Imani chai, a friend ordered in Croatia and then they brought it to us, but the Guacamacho was delivered to our doorsteps, and that was beautiful. So yeah, I hope that helps. And mate is fantastic. I am addicted to it. I'm not gonna lie. That's like my coffee. I think I drink like 2 liters of mate a day, but it's very yeah. I think it's a very good complement to have to your everyday. I don't want to say healthy diets, but like it's good. Someone asked, "Is the Balkans a good place, like a good region to raise kids?" And that is a deep question. As always, everything that's on Balkatinos is our experience, my experience. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's a good place to raise my kids. Because if there's something I don't like, is when people tell you how to raise your kids or how to do something in your life. So I'm just going to share what I think for our family and our kids, and you do what you wish with that information. There is also a video on YouTube about the reasons why we chose Bosnia to live in instead of Argentina, in case you are interested for like a deeper whatever decision we made or we share, we tried to explain that it's because of kind of like the past life we already had. The background, the context is that we were living in Dubai for many years and we made a good amount of money to be able to buy our home here. And when you have a place to live in, when you don't pay rent, that makes a huge difference, I would guess, financially. No, I don't guess, I know. So yeah, I think we were at an advantage financially to be able to afford a house here and kind of live okay without that financial worry, which I understand it's a number one stressor nowadays in a family. And just the fact that we don't have that stressor, it's fantastic. And you can see it in our everyday life. And I love it. I'm not stressed about money. Jovan's not stressed about money. And I don't want this to sound in an arrogant way, because if you've been following us for some time, you know that we are not that kind of people who care about money. We do emphasize that, we spend money on things that matter rather than material stuff. Different story. So yeah, that makes a huge difference. The fact that we have our own home here. And also, if we didn't, Jovan's family always opened their doors to their home because it's very common here that households have different sprats, like different floors, and families kind of live in the same house with like on different floors. I was not a big fan of that, neither was Jovan. So thank God, we got to buy our place, but thank God that we also had that option. So that's a huge factor. I would say financial stress. Then personally, and this is something that Jovan like cannot really, he wouldn't be able to comprehend because he never had to live with this. But where I'm from, safety is not guaranteed, and neither it's here. Like, come on. But yeah, robberies or killing, it's kind of like everyday news there, and that's just something I cannot put in my head to live with that. Like to know that I live in a place that's not safe. No. And now, like with Vera, we are out and about all day, every day. And that's another stressor, safety, like the lack of safety. I'm not stressed about that because it's just a safe place. And there's this constant talk about it's not safe because there's going to be war. Um, that's so sad to think like that because I've been here for 6 years and thank God it's still peaceful. And I hope it stays peaceful for many years. And the probabilities of me getting robbed in my home country are way higher than the war starting here. I don't know. I don't want to get deeper into that. Even our previous home in the UAE is not going through the best of times. So that tells you that even the most stable place, or I don't know, like there's no perfect or safe place. So right now, today here, we are safe. We feel safe. We feel safe when we go to neighboring countries as well. And I love that. And I think that's also because of the sense of community that there is in the society here. I feel like the family values here are insanely engraved and present everywhere, not only in our family itself, but in the street, like just the sense of family unity. I just love that. And the neighbors hanging out and kids of neighbors just growing up together, and the fact that the neighbor knocks on my door and gives me stuff just because, or if we have any leftover something, we pass it on to other neighbors. um the fact that like this family union values unity. Jovan's family works on the cello on the village on the land, and they crop vegetables and they have chickens and they get us eggs and meat, and like all of this it rotates, yeah, like everyone just supports each other, and it's such a fulfilling feeling that I've never experienced in my life ever. And in today's world, the fact that Vera, our daughter, gets to grow up with this, not only to like benefit from it, but for her to see that this is how everything should be. This is how people should be kind and generous and help the needy and understand the sense of community. For that, also, I would tell you yes, this region is where families should raise their kids. Other two things I will briefly tell you is that the nature here is everywhere, and we're a very outdoorsy family. We love to enjoy this time Like we don't have to drive for 2 hours to enjoy nature. It's just here. And we really love that for Vera and our future kids. I think people growing up surrounded by nature just have a different lifestyle, upbringing. Every day is just at least you don't know what the day's gonna throw you, but at least you are surrounded by nature, and somehow that gives you peace and calmness. And the other thing, that's just our personal preference because we love traveling and because we think it's essential um, for our family to travel and create experiences and moments and to see as much as possible diversity and so on. The place where we live, especially Bosnia, with all its turbulent past because of this diversity, we love that we are here because we and Vera, our daughter, gets to experience cultural diversity, religions, everything. She was born here. I feel that that's amazing. And also we get to travel around. Like I don't know, we can drive for 5 hours and we are in Macedonia, which is also different. It's still Balkan, but it's different. Or we drive for 4 hours and we're in Austria, and that's so different. Everything, I mean, that's typical Europe. Everything is close by. So I love that we can give her that in her childhood. Yeah. So my answer is that. Not related, but what brand mascara do you use? Your lashes are always so gorgeous without any lumps. Hello. I'm going to leave a picture of my mascara here. Look at this. Am I a beauty influencer now? 10 years of wearing makeup every day. I'm exhausted of it. Sometimes I take it too easy here and I see all these beautiful Balkan ladies so dressed up and like, all their makeup on. I'm like, oh my God, I need to make an effort. So yeah, when it comes to makeup, especially mascara, I will always say that was always my favorite piece of makeup, like mascara. Take everything but leave me with mascara. It's it's this one here. What I aim for is it's really the brush. The brush has to look like this or like this. And what I do is, oh my God, is this becoming a mascara eyelash tutorial? I tap the tips first. I tap it first, yeah, on both, let it dry a bit. And then I go from the very root, from the very start, very slow up. Yeah. And I don't know, that's a trick I've been doing for years, and I think that helps. There was one or two questions about men, local men, asking if their fiancés have to convert to, yeah, if they have to become Orthodox, if they want to get married in the church. And then someone asked me if I converted. So I understand this can be a recurring question. The thing is, it really depends on the church and the priest. And I'm telling you this from experience of people that I know got married. Yeah. So, black and white, I think you should convert. But from experience and what really happens, it depends on the priest and the church. And in our case, we got married in Dubai in the Russian Orthodox Church. And with money, you can do pretty much whatever you want. So yeah, we got married in a church, just us and our kumovi and the crowns, and we did the whole thing. But I didn't have to convert. And then when we moved here to Banja Luka, we had to get married once again because of love, of course, and to start with my visa process. Although marriage was not necessary, but I found out later. And it was only the municipality, like the legal signing of papers, so no conversion. Let's see. I keep telling Jovan, let's celebrate our 10-year anniversary by getting married in the church just to have a festa. And let's see then if I need to convert or not. So yeah, I think you just have to check with your church or priest. I'm coming to Banja Luka in May after over 35 years of being overseas. And because of health reasons, I can't be in restaurants where smoking is allowed. And I wanted to ask if you could recommend or know any smoke-free restaurants in Banja Luka. Thank you so much. Oh, my husband and I love your content. See, this is so irritating. I'm sorry about this. I can't believe you're coming back after 35 years. Like, well done for you. And I hope you have a wonderful time. It's crazy that you have to worry about these things, and I'm sorry, but there are a few places that we go to all the time because, once we learn that it's not smoking, we're going there all the time, especially during winter. And there are some places that have smoking, non-smoking, but it's not like they really make the effort to keep the non-smoking, non-smoking. So there is a list I created. I think it's on Google Maps, and I'm gonna leave it linked below. There's probably 10 places. Some of them have igraonica, like the playground for kids. So even if you don't have kids, go anyway. But yeah. The Marriott is a non-smoking place. There's a restaurant there. Also, Kotslavice, Sladole Kotslavice. I love it there so much. Um, Milunka, which is it's a really nice restaurant. They have non-smoking, and the place is pretty big, so you really don't feel the smoke. The non-smoking area upstairs in one of the gotivas, the one closer to the Serbian embassy upstairs, is not smoking, but when you enter, you have to go through the smoking area, which sucks. Kod which is a pizza place, they have non-smoking, and it's also the same case. You have to walk through the smoking to get to the non-smoking. Yeah, I'm gonna share the list, and hopefully you have a good time. And thank you for being here with us, Balkatinos. I'm glad to know that you like the content. Y todo, amigos. I think I could go on. There's quite a lot more, but if you have more questions about anything, life here, whatever, everything you want, just leave it in the comments, and happy to make more videos, content about it. There is a lot of questions about the cost of life here and like specific things that require a whole video, like rent, health insurance, apartment insurance. Yeah, so that's gonna be a whole another video we're gonna create, because I understand lots of you are gonna come back or come, and very happy about that. It's not a small decision to make. It's a very important one, but just for you to know that we are here, and we're hoping to push as much information as possible to make that transition smooth. And also, if you have any particular questions that need any personal answers, like specific things that you need us to look into research, reach out to us via email, and we can get in touch and take it from there. Thanks for watching. Nos vemos drugi put.